Since you know I love decorative stitches, I want to show you on the Pfaff Creative Icon 2 where you could preset how many repeats of a decorative stitch you want. Plus, I'm going to show you a couple places that you'll actually use this particular function. So we've just finished a video talking about what is called the patchwork program. And in the same area, the stitch repeat area, which is right here on the lower bar of functions, you will find what's called a single stitch program. So you can do this with any stitch in the machine. What we were doing it earlier was with the straight stitch, we had actually used the patchwork program, started here, stitched here, and it recorded the actual length. Then I was able to repeat that because if I had a pile of these to sew together, this distance is the same amount. Why not program in the length you need and let it stitch? Well, I'm going to show you the single stitch program, but this time, instead of with a straight stitch, let's just pick a stitch that you will see on screen like a decorative stitch. So let's say you wanted to stitch 3 scallops. You can come down here to single stitch program. Now, when I touch it, there's a number 1 and you notice your stitch disappears. So to see it, I'm going to go ahead and minimize this stitch menu so you can see the 1 stitch, because if I just want 1 stitch and I want it to stop, you can just have it stitch once. Of course, you can come down here and actually measure out or put in how many repeats you want. When you do a decorative stitch, you know what this could be good for? Is, let's say, a quilt label. A quilt label that you might want to have 4 stitches and then it stops, and then you're going to turn 90 degrees and do 4 stitches, 4 stitches, 4 stitches. You don't even have to think. Just tell it how long you want it to be, how many repeats, and then that's exactly what it'll stitch. You can pretty much just push that start-stop button on the machine and it will stop after your desired amount. Let's actually touch Edit Stitch, and we see that this stitch is actually 18 millimeters long. So 18 millimeters long times 4, that would tell you how long this repeat is. Now remember, what you see on screen, that's actual size 2. So if you just kind of go, oh yeah, that's about how long I want it, you know you're in the right ballpark. But if you came back to stitch repeat and increased or decreased your amount, you could have any amount of repeats for any stitch you want, and the machine will start and stop exactly where you've asked it to be. So I hope you'll check out our other video on, say, the patchwork program, and then try out for yourself. Maybe when you're doing some of your stitch book stitches, maybe you see that 3 repeats would fit on your fabric, then set it for 3 repeats and then push that button and you can practically walk away and it will end where you want it to end.